Welcome to Jets Game Day presented by Audi. Here's your host, Eric Allen.
Welcome into Jets Game Day. Eric Allen alongside Bart Scott and Nick Mangold. The Jets are going to be in South Florida this weekend to take on the Miami Dolphins. Interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich is sticking with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Your thoughts, Bart?
Listen, you want some continuity. They showed signs of life last week. You saw them, have times where they're able to put the ball in the end zone. He's got 19 touchdown passes. And you hope that, with another week of another opportunity, he'll be able to make some of those throws and put the ball on point to Devontae and be able to continue to let this offense grow. I was very encouraged by what Downey did with the creativity and the play calling early on, especially in the first half.
Rodgers so far this season, a 62.5% passer. He's got the 19 touchdown passes, the 8 interceptions. The theme, Nick, though, is going to be for the Jets' overall finish. Last week against the Seahawks, they were unable to shut the door. So far this season, 6 one-possession losses.
Yeah, and that's tough. And when you go through a season like this and you look at the opportunities that you have to win the ball game at the end of the fourth quarter and you aren't able to finish it out, that's where it gets tough. They got a lot of work to do, but they do need to finish.
Offense, defense, and special teams. Special teams played great last week against the Seahawks.
Special teams played great, but I'm telling you, man, I was so impressed with Fashanu. 49 drop-back passes, no pressures. I mean, that's a rarefied air, and I'm telling you, he's only going to get better. I'm so excited to see this young man grow.
All right, so that's a great theme here as we head into the film room presented by Moody's. Young guys who continue to develop. Will McDonald, 10 sacks now on the season. He took down former Jets quarterback Geno Smith twice.
So when we go into the film here and you look at Will over here on the right-hand side of the defense going against their left tackle here, which you presume to be their best pass blocker, right? And he doesn't do anything crazy here other than use his natural ability and really bends at the top of this to get around the corner. It's actually a pretty good set by the left tackle, gets his hands on him. But because of Will's athletic ability and the way that he's able to bend, he's able to turn the corner and get the sack on Geno.
I love that, and I also love the sacrifice that Quinnen is making sure he puts that tackle on an island to give him that isolation, to give him the option to go inside or outside. Now, before this even started, this was all about Will McDonald coming with his patented spin move. So he's sitting on the spin move, and then he dips and rips and gets skinny. We talk about turning that corner and hitting Geno.
The Jets' pass rush so far this season leads the National Football League in sacks per pass attempt at 10.9%, and they are on pace for 52 sacks, which would be second in franchise history. They're going to face, though, a Dolphins offense that is littered with playmakers surrounding Tua Tagovailoa.
Yes, and so their playmakers make plays, but they put them in great positions. Red zone passing is tough because the windows are tight. There's a lot of bodies there. Things can happen. So we have a 3-by-1, so 3 receivers here, 1 over here. So it puts a lot of thought over here with these guys in the passing situation of where they are on the field. And as the play goes here, you see we get into the screen. Everyone's dropping. We get 2 offensive linemen out. They do a great job of getting vertical. The running back has gone out to come back in, and it sets it up perfectly. They get the blocks, and it's a nice, easy touchdown 15 yards out.
We call that the middle screen, too, because first side, when you have 3-by-1, it's always the screen. And the key is always, if you look at the center, if the center and the back go the same way, it's always a screen indicator. See, if they go opposite, because in the protections, it's like a slide protection. So if you're a smart linebacker, 3-by-1, you better have eyes on him.
Coming up, we'll put Herb Charles under the Jets spotlight.
This film breakdown is brought to you by Moody's, proud partner of the New York Jets. Welcome back to Jets Game Day, presented by Audi. All right, Irv, what has this season been like for you so far?
Roller coaster would be an understatement, but in the simplest terms, it was very eventful. Obviously, we're not doing things we want to do team-wise, but I feel like a lot of guys are still achieving things that they want to achieve, personal goals, and just like putting good things on film. So I feel like there's a lot of good things to take out of this season, regardless of the results.
What would you say is the biggest lesson that all of the ups and downs this season has taught you? Okay.
Consistency. Same way after a win, same way after a couple losses back and back. Some days you can come in here and you feel like you're on top of the world. Other days you feel like the world's on top of you. You can't let that affect how you treat and attack each day, because come time Sunday, nobody cares how you feel. They just see what you did or didn't do.
Coach Ulbrich came off the bye and said he was able to self-scout and kind of look at the tape a little bit deeper. He mentioned special teams as one of the things he had wanted to get going ahead of week 13. What did you see on the tape when you had a chance to review it during the bye?
Everything Brick said was right. I just felt like we lost a little bit of that edge. I lost a little bit of that aggressiveness. So when he said self-scout, we really sat down, we self-scouted, we talked about things, we really dove into where we felt like things went left, and that was where it was, then the aggression behind everything, the intent.
You play the Seahawks, and the special teams has an incredible performance. You guys have a kick return touchdown, 2 fumble recoveries. There was a blocked extra point. So what was that mind shift change?
Get back to the basics. Literally what got us there, just being aggressive. Man, I love Boyer. So when we give him the confidence to call the type of plays that he calls up for us and be able to execute it like that, it's good. It gives us a certain confidence that whenever he calls, whatever they're lined up in, we can get it done, and that's what we did against the Seahawks.
What did you think of Kene Nwanwu's kick return touchdown? What did you see as that play was kind of unfolding?
Honestly, we saw it coming before that even happened. Like throughout the whole week, we knew he was gonna do something. All right, we saw he was out there with us. We're like, all right, that's step 1. They kicked it to him, that's step 2. Oh, he's returning it, that's step 3. And then like he's running, we're just like, oh, we gotta make this thing happen. So I got the block, he broke the tackle. Next thing I know, I'm watching him run. So, oh my goodness, that was amazing.
When you look at this season of yours and what you have accomplished, what do you think has allowed you to accomplish and play all of those things at such a high level?
But I really want to give credits to Boyer. He just gives me the freedom to make those plays and to take those chances because we put the work in throughout the week. Between him and Timo, they give me a lot of respect. And with that respect, I feel like it's my right to do something with it, you know? Not just doing my job, obviously. Just like, you know, they say everybody just do their job, nobody has to be Superman. I can't just do that.
Yeah.
I can't. I want to have that cape.
Ahead of the season, he had a comment about you saying, you know, the special teams unit was really going to need to lean on you and depend on you with Justin Hardy no longer being on the team. How does it feel to know that not only you've stepped into that leadership role for them, but then you have been able to play at a high level and like perform on and off the field and kind of exceed maybe his initial expectations?
My mom helped me with that. She had a lot of responsibilities as a kid, a lot of chores, and having to juggle chores and still wanting to go out there and do what I want to do, training, because I used to want to practice and do so much stuff. So it's just like how it is here. Before you get to what you want to do, there's stuff that you have to do. There's a preparation standpoint, and still being able to go out there and execute and fly around confident and free. It's just a flow. I'm in a good spot right now because I have good people. I got a good coach. I got good teammates who trust me and put me in position. So it's all credits to them.
Now you guys have 5 games left, the next one being Miami Dolphins,
Oh, yeah.
an AFC East rival that you guys haven't seen yet this season. What type of performance do you want to put on tape?
We'll see if I can get 4 defenders on me this time instead of 3. I'm just like, nah. Nah, I just want to keep being an impact player, you know, keep making plays, keep showing up, keep being a spark. I like hearing my name get called, just making plays, just being there, being a spark for those guys. Whatever it may be for this week, I'll get it done.
Awesome, appreciate the time, Ruth.
No problem, appreciate you.
This exclusive interview was presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer to get behind the wheel of yours today, or visit AudiOffers.com for more information.
Thanks, Caroline. Let's go inside the matchup and discuss how the Jets changed some things up schematically, offensively after the bye, Nick.
Yeah, so I think what they did, which was fantastic, was they schemed up plays, ways to get your playmakers the ball. Let's start with this first one here. This tight end's gonna motion back and act like a fullback, like he's gonna be a lead blocker. But he is actually gonna go out on the swing, and we're also gonna swing the running back. And this is a simple swing screen to the running back where we can get the ball out fast, in space, with an extra blocker. He puts his foot in the dirt and gets the first down. I think it's a great example of getting the ball out fast, getting it to your playmakers.
Bart, Braylon Allen has 12 catches his rookie year, and he really popped in training camp because he's got good hands for a big guy.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a guy that runs behind his pass. He's going to punish the defenders. And that's what you want, set the tone. I thought that was a good play, getting the ball in his hands in space and getting him going downhill immediately and getting a tight end in front of him to get a block.
Garrett Wilson has had an outstanding season for the Jets, and I really like what Todd Downing here did at the start of the second half, getting his playmaker the ball.
Yeah, and this is a great example of how do you get the ball to your playmakers, right? And so Garrett Wilson being manned up a lot. Now let's get him moving. Let's get some motion, use the run game to allow him to get open. And that's exactly what they do here. This is going to be a full run sail here to the left. Garrett's going to sneak out here. Aaron's going to flip it out to him. It's just easy pitch and catch and gets the ball into your playmaker's hands. Fake handoff, and bam, it's right there. Aaron does a great job of getting the ball out fast. He gets it right to his playmaker. First down, and then some.
I mean, that's creative design. The boot coming off of Breece Hall, you know that he's going to get a lot of attention, especially once again when you go off 3-by-1. 3-by-1, putting the belly in there, it causes that defensive end to have to play. Aaron's not much of a run threat, but he is a boot and throwback threat. And then the fact that Devontae Adams is eating up the front side guys, Garrett Wilson getting athletic, getting upfield, getting as much as he can out of that play.
Coming up, we're going to find out what the Jets are saying about their divisional matchup against the Dolphins.
The Jets are back on the road for the first time in 4 weeks to take on their AFC East rival Miami Dolphins. It'll be the first meeting this season between these teams as the Jets will play 3 of their final 5 games inside the division.
Great challenge, divisional opponent we know very well, very explosive from an offensive perspective, not just speed, but schematically they're going to challenge you in every way. Defense, they got a new look and they're finding their rhythm, I feel like, as of late. Very aggressive, a lot of fronts, a lot of pressure. We're going to have to be on our stuff in that way. And then from a special team standpoint, as we all know, they have been very explosive in the past. You know, whether that's creating explosives with scheme and fakes, or it's putting one of those monsters back there and letting them return.
One of those monsters interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich referred to is Dolphins' 5-time first-team All-Pro wide receiver Tyreek Hill. And while the Jets have the NFL's number 2 pass defense, they could be without 2-time All-Pro Sauce Gardner, who hurt his hamstring in last week's game.
They're still assessing the degree of which, you know, beyond what the MRI told us, but he plays a position and we're playing an opponent that you cannot play with a poor hamstring, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. If he's feeling good and ready to rock and roll, then we'll let him play. If not, this is not a game we want him half speed.
The Jets are dealing with more injuries than just Gardner, but they could be getting a welcome piece on offense back in the fold in wide receiver Allen Lazard. Lazard has missed the last 5 games with a chest injury and returned to practice earlier this week.
Allen's outstanding. You know, he kind of knows all the roles and everybody's rules, so there are times you see him out there reminding somebody of what they have or, you know, communicating about a leverage of a DB or something like that. He's a very smart football player. He brings a physicality and a toughness in the run game, you know, where he's willing to go do some dirty work, but then he possesses the ability to make plays down the field. So we're excited to have Allen in that kind of return to play mode, and hopefully we can, you know, get him involved here pretty quick.
Lazard is one of the seasoned veterans on the team, but the Green and White has a handful of talented young pieces with less experience who flashed in last week's game against the Seahawks.
I want to give a shout out to my dog Kanai, Isaiah Davis, and also Herb. My dog Herb had 3 people on him the first punt and still went down and made the tackle. Isaiah had his first touchdown. He been balling at practice. Haven't got it. As soon as he get the touchdown. And Kanai came in our practice squad as one of my guys just because whenever I need some work at running back, anything like that, as far as like third down, he's one of the fastest back I done win against. Anything like that, bro. I'm just very excited about those guys and how they showed up on Sundays.
Let's get into our great debate presented by HCL Tech. Which young Jet is going to benefit most from the Jets' final 5 games in the regular season? Starting with you, Bart.
For me, it's definitely Olu Fashanu. You talk about the dominant performance he had last week. Now I'd like to see him get better and kind of driving guys off the ball, but we knew that coming in the draft that he's one of the most technically sound pass protectors there were in the draft, and he has not disappointed. He showed his versatility throughout the year, and I think he's proven that he's a 15-year plug-and-play guy. Reminds me a lot of Christian Darrisaw with his ability to kind of be so developed and being able to stay square and read line stunts and all the good things. He's wise beyond his years already. I can't wait to see him continue to develop.
Bart Scott says buy stock in Olu Fashanu. You got to like that selection, but this is a debate. Where are you going to go?
It's a debate, and but I'm going to stick with the offensive line. And I think I'm going to go with Tittman, young guy who can really benefit from these last 5 games. And this is more so not for his technical prowess or any of the physical attributes, but more of the leadership style that he needs to build. As the center, I think it's a great opportunity with these 5 games to go and lead his offensive line and lead by example and showing the way to do it and finishing these games. And so I think this is a great learning opportunity and great experience for him as they finish up these last 5 games.
Big picture, short term and long term. The Jets' offensive line has pieces to build on. When you're talking about Fashanu, John Simpson has been great this year. You mentioned Joe Tittman. You got Elijah Vera-Tucker playing the right guard position. We'll have to see what happens with those veteran tackles as well. But the Jets certainly have things to look forward to here down the stretch. Coming up, don't go anywhere because we got our game day predictions on the other side.
This was presented by the official digital transformation partner of the New York Jets, HCL Tech, supercharging progress. Get 100% verified tickets to every upcoming game at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Jets and the NFL.
Welcome back to Jets Game Day. Eric Allen alongside Bart Scott and Nick Mangold. Let's get into our game predictions presented by the New York Lottery. Aaron Rodgers has 19 touchdown passes on the season. His 20th scoring toss will go to who?
I'm going Malachi Corley, right? Because you talk about Devontae Adams, they're going to try to take him away. Garrett Wilson, they know that he's a threat down there. And then that's where you get the gadgets in. That's where you get the Percy Harvin type of shuffle passes or things like that. We saw a great shuffle pass to Isaiah Davis. You get creative. You get the screen passes down there. And he's a guy that can get that yak. He's a guy that's very physical, running the football, a guy they use in the blocking game. He can be used as the other guys are used as a decoy.
The Yak King. Will the Dolphins use star corner Jalen Ramsey more in coverage on Devontae Adams or Garrett Wilson?
I've crunched the numbers, and I think it is going to be Devontae Adams. They know that he's got a great rapport with Aaron Rodgers, and so why not take away his number one threat, and then you can really focus on Garrett Wilson. So I think it's definitely going to be Devontae Adams.
According to Next Gen Stats, Adams has 9 receptions, 117 yards on 14 targets, with Jalen Ramsey as the nearest defender in coverage in his career. How about this one? Tua will complete more than 70% of his passes against the Jets defense. Tunga Vailoa so far this season, Bart, 74.5% accuracy.
Well, I'm going to need the Jets to get that down, because if he's completing that type of percentage, that means they're running the ball well, too, because the play action is working. Tua turns his back to the defense a lot and throws the ball blindly behind the linebacker. So I'm going to say he's not, because I think that they're going to be able to try and slow down the run game to make them a team that can't just make the Jets one-dimensional.
Kene Nwangwu last week averaged 52.3 yards a return against Seattle. He will have at least a 40-yard return against the Dolphins.
I'm going to go false. And I think it's more so that the Dolphins special teams coordinator is going to focus in on the great job that he did last week and realize, hey, maybe we shouldn't kick him balls that he can return. So I think that's going to be, I don't think we're going to get a big one this week.
All right, let's get into our final thoughts. The Jets and Dolphins are going to play each other twice over these final 5 games, Bart.
I mean, it's always a tough one when you talk to any former Dolphins that became Jets. They tell you that for them, it's their Super Bowl. So they take this extremely seriously. It's one of those games that they have circled in their building. I don't know if, as a former Jet, if we take that rivalry as serious. Our rivalry was to the Patriots. But, you talk about going out and having to deal with the element and deal with the weather. You know how they struggle with the cold weather, but, teams go down there and struggle with the hot weather. They have to stay focused, stay hydrated. Hydration starts today. You can't go down there on the day before the game and think you're going to get properly hydrated. You have to be disciplined in your preparation this week to be able to put a great performance together.
It's an interesting matchup because the Dolphins have won 3 straight in the series and 7 of the past 8 against the Jets, but both these teams right now thought they'd be in different places. The Buffalo Bills just clinched the division for a 5th consecutive year.
Yeah, and I think the nice part of going down to the side of Florida at this point, I mean, we're talking about Miami's the 6th borough. All right, so we're going to have some Jet fans down there. I think it's going to be not as hostile as before, and so I'm hoping it's a good place for us to kind of let loose, let that warm air loosen the body up and play fast and play loose.
Perhaps a little South Florida home cooking for the Jets. We'll have to find out what happens Sunday. Enjoy your football weekend.